Yeah, so we'll share this, Vikram, not an issue.
Okay, thank you.
With the team. So thank you again, and at the outset, let me thank all of you in the earlier times also. Whatever directions were issued from BBMP advisories, we have largely found them to be complied. In fact, to the extent that many a time the management committees have had to argue with the residents in the apartments, and to that extent, most of you have kind of stood with BBMP in terms of enforcing regulations in the larger interest of containing COVID. Your first question, I think, is on the current data trend suggesting the advent of the third COVID wave. Yes, by all means, it looks like the cases are slated for a slight increase. We are seeing case admission, I mean, the cases hovering around the 400 to 500 mark. And yesterday, you must have also read that Karnataka is one of the states which the center has flagged, where the reproduction rate of the virus is crossed 1. Now that is a very complex calculation which is done at the government level. However, they feel that Karnataka could be one of the states, and Bangalore particularly, which could see a rise in the number of cases. Now, third wave, continuation of second wave, these are all very generic terms. I don't think we should be bothered about those things. What should concern us is the clustering of the cases, if any, which are happening, and the COVID appropriate behavior or the lack of it, which we observe sometimes, which could really spike up or trigger cases. So I would answer in a way that we are probably at the crossroads now. The next 15 days, because as you're all aware, the virus does not translate immediately. It requires an incubation period. It requires a period where it's setting in when all of us are fine. And then we start seeing a clear trend of rise in test results, increase in the hospital admissions. Once we see that, that is when we realize that we are already into the third wave and there is nothing much we can do. So if I look at the hospital admissions today, it is not alarming. That is the only silver lining presently. Even the case spike on a daily basis has not spiked. It has hovered around the 400 to 500 on a daily basis. We are doing 60,000 tests per day. So by all means, the tests being done are sufficient compared to any other metro that is doing the tests. The tests are also fairly targeted now with the advent of the containment zones, and all of you are aware that the definition of the containment zone has changed a bit now, or rather the threshold for defining a containment zone has now reduced from as high as maybe 20 when we started, then became 10, reduced to 5, and now it is 3. The whole idea behind this is not to create more containment zones and be proud of it. The whole idea is actually to ensure that there is more micromanagement of any COVID spurts which may have occurred locally, so that containment is also intensely done in that local area. That is the only objective of this. And in that regard, I think there were a lot of doubts from the apartment associations and others. Uh, Sorry, I'll just break for a while now, because the Economic Times story is doing the rounds for the wrong reasons. I would like to clarify here that there was no statement given by BBMP saying that RT-PCR mandatory certificate is required for anybody to enter into the state. It is only for people of whatever origin. I mean, they may be from any state, but if they're traveling from Kerala or Maharashtra into the city of Bangalore, that is when they need to have a mandatory RT-PCR negative certificate. So if I myself, being a resident of Bangalore, go to Kerala and try to come back into Bangalore, I should possess an RT-PCR certificate which is less than 3 days old. This is the only mandated thing, and please clarify to as many people as possible that this does not apply to the other states of India. It's just these 2 states as of now. Of course, the government may take a decision to include more states later. We do not know that now. Sorry. So that was a bit of a clarification, because I've been seeing it on so many WhatsApp groups and Twitter groups that I thought it was right on my part to clarify that. Now, I would also like to emphasize that in the apartments, if you have visitors, I mean, this regulation apart, if you have people who are coming from outside the state, be it any state, as a matter of abundant caution, it is always better to have them tested once. If they have been a fairly long time somewhere else and are coming, if they have a relatively, I would say, prone population or residents who can catch the infection, as a matter of abundant caution, I repeat, it is advisable. However, if you feel that that is not required, we are not here to force. But obviously, the returnees from Kerala and Maharashtra, the same rule will apply. The department associations need to very carefully monitor this, and please ensure that they get tested and they stay in isolation till the test results come. So that would be one request from our end in terms of aligning ourselves with the government directions. Now, the second question talks about any specific additional precautions that RWA should take based on the correct insights. Now, the matter of concern, let me put it across here, is what we normally see when we go to the larger apartments. Being the zonal commissioner of a zone which houses probably the largest number of apartments, in my multiple visits to Mahadevpura, the only thing that is of concern which I observe is the common spaces that are there in the apartment areas, and we have no issues with people walking in the evening as long as they're doing it in an isolated manner. No bunching. If one is taking a walk outside within the campus, if one is going out for a little jog, cycling, absolutely fine. But what concerns us is any kind of a large any events. I mean, it could be a protest, it could be some kind of Independence Day is coming, so any kind of a small function being organized for that, any get-togethers, any social causes get-togethers. I think the cause may be good, but this is not the right time to congregate. So I feel that if the associations can very strongly curb that any bunching up activities, even if it is between friends, you're going to spend some time sitting together, chit-chatting, that is something that I think in the next 2-3 weeks, if we could avoid and just get down to do our basic work, exercise, walk, whatever, and come back. I know that we have relaxed the gym regulation, and one can use the gyms purely from the health perspective, nothing else. But otherwise, we do not advise or do not recommend opening up of any other common spaces for the time being. So, COVID appropriate behavior, non-use of these common areas for getting together, regular testing of any symptomatic person. I will reiterate that there is an alternate thought to this also. The RT-PCR sensitivity is somewhere around 70%. We have our doctors here. 70%. So it is about 70%, which means 30% are anyway going to get a negative report, even if tested under RT-PCR. So the only way to kind of save lives, only way to ensure people don't land up in hospitals late, is to go for something known as the syndromic approach. Now, the syndromic approach talks about early identification of symptoms. Please talk about this to all the apartment residents. Let them not hide the most minor of symptoms which may occur, because that could translate into something worse later. The only way to handle this is early kind of treatment. You could be home isolated and start treatment, but the fact is that unless we catch the symptoms early, get tested, and beyond testing also, if one realizes that the symptoms do not wither away, then by all means, I would say that the treatment should start. Otherwise, we will see a lot more late admissions into hospitals, because I chair the COVID death audit committee. Unfortunately, some of the deaths that we have seen were largely preventable had the treatment started on day 1 or day 2, rather than the treatment having started on day 8 and 9. By when, unfortunately, the viral load in the body becomes so much that it becomes a case of too late, too little. So please ensure that this is also followed at your end. You are free to interject at any time. I'm just going in the order, Vikram, of the questions that you gave. I'm running through, but if anyone wants to interject at any point of time, please let me know so that I can stop. Or you could collate the questions and we could have a session as we close to answer the clarifications. Okay.
Sir, I think it will be preferable if you can cover that, sir. So that
okay, so let me cover this. Let me cover this. So third question is, what are the current guidelines on the application of micro containment measures? Can they be clearly documented containment guidelines? Now, the recent containment guidelines talk about 3 or more cases within a 100-meter radius. Now, in a common area, 100-meter radius is very clear. However, in an apartment, how do we classify it? So, in an apartment, we are gone by a simple mathematical assumption. We have said if 3 cases are occurring, 3 plus cases are occurring in a particular house or on the same floor, then we declare it as a cluster 1. Are we doing it also for individual cases if they occur in a block?
Yes,
okay, so I will come to that later. But first, let us assume the easiest case scenario, that we have 3 cases in a apartment door number, and then what we do is we take that floor, the floor above and below. Now, in case there are, let us say, 20 floors in that apartment block, and these 3 cases are again spread, may not be in the same floor, but spread maybe in the 3rd floor, 6th floor, and the 9th floor, let us say. Again, as a matter of abundant precaution, we are, because apartments invariably have common spaces in terms of your staircase, lifts, and all of that. So again, as a matter of abundant caution, we try and declare that entire block, though the containment zone will still be the adjoining floors and that floor, but still in terms of testing, we have recommended that at least the residents of that block get tested once to just ensure that we don't miss anything, while the seal down will still happen to the adjoining and the intervening floors. We would not like to discomfort everybody by kind of blocking the entire block, unless the RWA also suggests that something like this may be required. Now, we have the liberty of doing this because we understand that the management committee would still intervene and can support these residents in terms of all kind of daily groceries, any kind of help that may require, any medical emergencies. Obviously, the person is free to go to a hospital in an ambulance and come back. Any other kind of assistance, the BBMP staff is always there to liaise in. So this is broadly what we have done. And we have also said that the primary and secondary contacts have to be tested immediately, while the others can take a day or 2, but there could not be any compromise on the primary secondary contacts. And we presume that in an apartment block, we would find more primary contacts simply because the person must have spent a lot more time in the common areas and contact would be more. ILI SARI, again, any symptomatic in an apartment block has to be mandatorily tested. This is not the time for us to argue that I am symptomatic, I am not. Even if you do observe somebody with, let us say, something as basic as a common cold or a running nose, it is always better to subject them to a RT-PCR test, ask them to be in isolation for some time, not to risk the others during that time. And I would also advise that please invest in a pulse oximeter. It is, I would suggest that it is the best investment that one can make at this point of time. And do keep taking the 5-minute, 6-minute walk test at least 2 or 3 times a day. And this would be one of the easiest ways to detect if any kind of deterioration of condition is happening. Especially people who are living with comorbidities or are immunocompromised, or elders who are above 60. This is something that we would earnestly advise all of you, and it is a very clear indicator. Otherwise, there is a state called as the happy hypoxia state, where one doesn't realize that his or her oxygen levels are dipping until the very last moment. So I have doctors around me. In case I'm saying something wrong or different, please interject and correct me. So that is something which we would expect all of you to abide by. The next question talks about, can an updated RWA advisory be issued so that the management committees of apartments can be referenced? Yes, this is on our priority. The advisory which was issued, I think, a couple of months back, requires some revision. And Vikram, we will probably take the next day or two at most to kind of update this and send it across. So that we'll prioritize that as one of the activities, Mr. Bhaskar.
Yeah.
The next question talks about there is a perception that ducts in apartments could promote airborne spread. Can BBMP engage with experts case BCB to clarify this and issue a clear? So neither can we rule in or rule out this. As you know, we are not, BBMP may not be an expert authority on this. However, yes, necessary precautions need to be taken. We can do one thing. We have a expert committee within BBMP. We are meeting them tomorrow. Probably we'll place this subject before them because that will be a doctor's. Otherwise, Dr. Vijendra is here, who is our CHO. Would you like to add something on this question?
Yes, it's a very debatable issue. It's being discussed worldwide in studies going on to confirm this airborne transmission. It is yet to be confirmed, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, so we'll come back to you on that one because we would like to place it before our health expert committee tomorrow and come back to you. It's a very valid question.
Can I ask now?
I will take another 5 minutes and finish the questions. Then we can
All right.
have the
All
question, because these are questions asked by the residents which Vikram has compiled. I'm just answering those.
No, mine is only about 2 jabs.
Are there any
Pay
specific
for
process
2
changes?
jabs. After the 2 jabs, is it safer?
Sure, sir. Let Randeep sir finish his summary of questions, please.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any specific process changes that have been introduced in the clinical support? How do RWS seek support in case of a positive case discovery? Now, the clinical management process have not been significantly modified. Now, except for the fact of ensuring that we are able to catch something early. You must be noticing that we have started the physical triage now. Almost 100% of triages was done only over the phone, and that is why we missed a lot of patients who required admission. However, with the advent of physical triage, the minute somebody is turned positive, you must be observing that the BBMP teams are now landing up. They're checking the vitals of the patient, assessing the medical condition, and then suggesting whether the patient is fit for home isolation or needs to be pushed to at least a COVID care center. So these, while physical triages, our best efforts are to ensure that 100% is a physical triage. We also do realize that some may not be fit for a physical triage. They may already be admitted and all of that, but all said and done, this is the way ahead, and we are having adequate teams to ensure that the patient is physically triaged. And in terms of the protocol of treatment, that is the clinical line of treatment, which is as mandated by the state government. The do we have any ICMR guidelines? I suppose in terms of treatment and medication.
Government of India and Government of
Yeah, Government of India and Government of Karnataka guidelines. So that there is no large change in terms of the dosage, in terms of what antibiotics need to be given, and all of that. So if there is anything specific, we can place this also in the committee tomorrow, and we'll come back to you. How can an on-site community testing facility be availed if needed? Now, on-site testing at most apartments will be facilitated by our PHC teams. All you need to do, and I also request all the apartments, I'm sure you must have done, please do understand your geographical location, which is the PHC that comes, or rather, under which PHC's jurisdiction do you come? Because there are a lot of mapping issues. We also will try to put that across, which PHC is mapped to which ward. In fact, in our website, I don't know whether we have already done it, but we'll share the link, Vikram. In fact, of the PHCs which are mapped to the wards, and there is the geolocation of the PHC is also there, along with the doctor's address. So that being the case, ಇಲ್ಲಿ admit ಮಾಡಿಸಿ So that is very important to know that under which jurisdictional PHC that you come, because all emergencies, all issues in terms of testing, quarantine needs to be referred to that PHC. I'm also sure that you would be in touch with the medical officers of health of the assembly constituencies, as well as the health officer of the zone. These are all critical people in terms of handling any COVID related exigencies. I would also request that you can also prepare yourself in the larger apartment at least to have some kind of a community quarantine facilities in case the home isolation is not that suitable. The larger apartments, the larger blocks, if you can think of, I think last time also you did have these, the apartments themselves had their own COVID care centers, which were amply well managed with some oxygen concentrators and all that. I think if earnest efforts can be made in that regard, that will again reduce the load which comes on to the BBMP CCC network and the hospitals. The next question is about the triage centers. Yes, we have 16 triage centers which are operational. Again, we will share the geolocations with you online. We propose to have 27 triage centers, one each in the assembly constituencies. So this will be operationalized within the next 2 days. Again, the geolocation along with the triage doctor number, everything will be shared in public platform so that all of them are accessible. And the advantage of a physical triage center is it is just like a fever clinic where you can, if you suspect that you have COVID kind of a symptoms, you can come there and with all due precaution, COVID appropriate behavior, you can land up there, or you can even seek an ambulance from our end. We can send that ambulance so that you can be brought in a safe manner to the PTC. You will be subjected to a full kind of a check there to assess your condition. Your swab will be taken, results would be known to you, and if any kind of an admission is required, the PTC will facilitate that admission. So that is the whole process. However, if you cannot walk to the PTC, then we have something called as an MTU, which is a mobile triage unit. Every ward has at least one mobile triage unit presently because of the low case load. As numbers increase, if and when numbers increase, we will increase these mobile triage units. The whole purpose of the mobile triage units to reach COVID positive patients who already are positive and triage them. However, if there is a large scale suspicion that people need to be triaged, there is an outbreak somewhere, we can also use the triage, mobile triage units for such purposes. So this will also be shared. Are beds allocated in public private hospitals for admission in a state of readiness? Yes, this is something on priority we've been talking. In fact, yesterday also we had a second VC with the FANA, and they have assured that all the hospitals will be kept in a state of readiness. We are taking up hospital bed inventory. As we speak, it is happening. Maybe in a week's time to 10 days time, we should be able to collect this information of all the hospital beds in the private. Of course, the government beds are already available with us. So that is happening. Now, are measures being taken for the ready availability of medication like remdesivir and amphotericin? Yes, I don't think this is much of an issue now. The state government is well briefed on this, and they have their own health expert committee which has been advising them. In fact, there has been a lot of talk that this wave is going to affect the children. Our expert committee says that COVID per se may not affect them, but there is a condition called as MISC, which is the multi-inflammatory syndrome in children, which may occur 1 week to 1 month after COVID. And there are some essential drugs for that, which needs to be procured from the state. That is also being flagged to them. So the state is in all respect also well briefed on this issue, and they will be taking it up. The last question, and I would suggest that I probably perceive that this is very important for all of you as it is for us. Can BBMP support scaling up of vaccination among apartment residents, especially second dose of 18+ category on-site camps, and also some immobile geriatric residents who would require home vaccination support? Yes, all the 141 BBMP PHCs are presently providing vaccination. When I say PHC, it could be either at the PHC or it could be a location in lieu of PHC in a government building or in a private building. But all wards have some kind of a vaccination presence if one needs to walk up and take this up. If the supplies do increase in the coming days, the number of mobile camps, on-site camps can also increase. However, I cannot say with assurance today that we'll be able to run multiple camps to cover up, though that is our objective. And you must have read also in the news and seen the news that the state has asked for probably about 1 crore vaccines for the month of August from the center. So if any kind of supplies do increase, then August could be the month where we would be vaccinating the most number. Door to door per se is not permitted. However, we could reach almost up to the door, probably as an on-site camp within the campus, or probably at the end of the road, and try to vaccinate as many as possible. So I conclude here temporarily for all the questions that have been raised, and willing to take some questions. I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Otherwise, we have our team of doctors here, and hopefully Chief Commissioner will also be joining soon to take your questions. Thank you.
Randeep, just to mention, I have just now joined. I'm
sorry, sir. I did not know you had joined, sir. I welcome you to this meet, sir, on behalf of BPMP and all the BAF residents. So thank you, sir.
Yeah. I would join shortly. I'm driving down to the head office and be with you, but I am on the line. So please carry on. I would love to listen to the Bangalore Apartments Federation. And yes,
can we ask the question?
Over to you.
Yeah. Can I ask a question now, Mr. Nagaraju? I have just one question, that many people are under the impression that having taken 2 doses of the vaccine, it is very safe and we don't have to have a mask, we don't have to follow the social distancing or any other method. Can you please enlighten us on this?
Yeah, if you can see on the screen, Dr. Bhaskar is sitting. He's raising his hand. He's an example, and I've taken his consent to declare this, that he's a 2-time vaccinated doctor who got COVID, and I personally know that he went through hospitalization. And there were days when he could not even speak since the attack was. So I will not assure that 2-time vaccination, we should not test them, or we should not. So there could be, what we are definitely observing is that in the hospitals, the hospitalization of the vaccinated is much lesser, or even if they are vaccinated, their symptoms are largely less compared to that, and not many of them are ending up on the critical care beds. This I can vouch for. When I spoke to the doctors in Manipal also, they said that not many vaccinated ones are getting admitted on the critical care beds. But yes, there is a chance of infection still after the 2 doses. So all COVID appropriate behavior is very, very important to be followed. And one cannot take the excuse. And as you can see, even for the Kerala, Maharashtra returnees, irrespective of vaccination, we are taking their swab, or we are asking for a mandatory RT-PCR certificate.
I request this be publicized, because general public in large are under the impression that two vaccinations done, I am safe. I would request that BBMP puts it in the media that this is not, it's not keeping you safe. You are better off than the rest, but you are liable to getting to COVID. Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you expressed your views. It answers most of my questions.
Yeah, and just to add on to Mr. Kishore, I think BBMP or the police can probably do a certain amount. Like, people are not careful. You cannot bear BMP and the police, right? They cannot, if you don't wear your mask, it's your problem. And this is and people have to be little self-sensitive. And I think that's one thing which should be very clear, I think.
I fully agree with you, but I was saying that just publicize it as much as possible, that this misunderstanding that having 2 jabs is good enough and I can go about doing anything.
Get it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
One more
Thank
thing,
you
they
so
can
much.
always be carriers. They can always be carriers, right?
That's
and
right.
that is a huge risk. That is a huge risk.
Can we move to specific questions?
Sir,
Next question.
One question.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm Nandagopal from Elgin Apartments, Prestige Elgin. Not wearing a mask may not be may or may not be a risk for the person, but it is a risk for others also. So we should ensure that everybody wears the mask, whether it is the police or BBMP or somebody moving around. I'm a senior citizen nearing 80. Whenever I see somebody not wearing a mask, I tell them. Some people just wear the mask here. It's of no use. I tell them, cover your nose. This is a must. All of us, all citizens should ensure that everybody wears the mask and they cover the nose. That's my idea. And it should be ensured by everybody, not just the police or BBMP. Everybody. You see, we will be affected because of somebody's mistake. Why should they make a mistake? Thank you.
So this is Vishwanath from Renaissance Temple Bells. Hello.
Go ahead, sir. You've been in news for very long.
Yeah.
This is very important.
See, we have some confusion about the classification as a containment zone. Okay. We have received information that Block A is under full containment. And when we get the other published list, it says CL. What is the difference between CL, that is a cluster, and AP, that is the apartment complex? People are raising a lot of questions on this, doubts on this. As of now, we are completely sealed down Block A.
So I'll respond to that. As I said, if the number of positive cases and the cluster is limited to that particular block as a distinct block, and there are other blocks which are physically not connected with this block, as in they don't have a vestibule or any kind of a connection between the two, then we limit our containment zone to that particular block alone. We really don't designate the whole complex as a containment zone. However, if we do notice that the infection has spread across the blocks, say you have 8 blocks within an apartment complex, and 3 of them have about 6 cases spread across these 3 blocks, then I am forced to kind of declare those 3 blocks also as part of an apartment complex, which is a containment zone. Hope that answers.
No, sir, I have still doubt about the classification. What is CL and what is AP? Because AP says 1 floor above, 1 floor below.
One floor alone.
Okay, so CL is basically a cluster. How do we define a cluster? We define a cluster as 3 cases or 3 or more cases coming in a geographical area of 100 meters. Obviously, in apartments, it will all be within 100 meters, as it will be restricted to a floor or some 3 floors above. So that is the definition of a cluster. Now, once a cluster is declared, containment zone is basically the zone which we define around this cluster, which will also be subject to some kind of a seal down, active testing, active surveillance on a daily basis. So if it's a simple definition of a case occurring, 3 cases occurring on the same floor, we are taking the floor above and below and declaring that as an entire zone to be for some kind of a surveillance daily. However, if the cases are spread across many floors, then I am forced to consider the entire block as the containment zone for surveillance.
Thank you, sir. And I would just like to highlight the measures we have taken. I mean, yesterday we have completed 100% testing. 100% testing. 1,000 tests were done. And we are extremely thankful to BBMP staff. They have been very proactive. They have been very proactive. And fortunately, the result received till today shows only the A block is having issue. Rest all blocks have been free of infection, and it is mainly because of the right time action taken by BBMP officials. We are very thankful to you, sir, on that.
Hi, sir. One second, Rohit. Randeep, sir, I think if we can revisit, if you remember last time in Mahadevapura, we had done that exercise of defining the containment for an apartment a little bit more specifically. We had done a session as well, if you remember. Yes, I think in the current context, if you are able to just quickly revisit that and make it simple and understandable, happy to help just to apply the containment approach and process for an apartment, and then make it widely available, I think it makes it much more simple and easy for people to understand and interpret how a containment is being applied. So that's just one addition.
Yeah. Please ask Vishnu to connect with me,
Sure.
Vikram, after this offline.
We'll
I'll
do
take it up with him.
Okay.
Hi, sir. This is Rohit. I have one question. So the problem what we face is we have one set of residents who will say that no maid should be allowed, delivery boy should not be allowed, food service should not be allowed, and any repair work should not be allowed, etc., etc. And there is another extreme which says that where is the guideline which says that you cannot allow my staff, who is giving you right to ask the RT-PCR test sample, etc., etc. So where is the balance? Where is the guideline, and what we should do? And can we really insist all the maids to produce their RT-PCR? Can we do we have right to ask them, please produce your vaccination certificate, etc.? So please help us on that, sir.
So I welcome Chief Commissioner, sir. He's joined us at the BBMP War Room itself. I'll hand it over to sir, but just to answer your question before I let sir intervene, I have also noticed that a lot of delivery boys enter into the apartment complex right up to the doorstep, which can be avoidable. I mean, we are not here to restrict everything and put everything in writing so that the management kind of enforces it. As I always said, these are all measures of abundant caution, which I think if we do not do it now, when will we do it? When a delivery boy can drop off something at the gate and somebody on behalf of who's placed the order can come and pick it up, that would be most reasonable. Similarly, maids and all that, one does understand that they come in daily, go in daily. So we are not that concerned about them. Vis-a-vis somebody who's come from out of station, an international traveler, I think this is where we need to draw a boundary, and where you require clear guidelines, do ask us. Where there is some element of discretion, we will issue it as an advisory. Please use that to the best of discretion and enforce it.
And Rohit, to answer to your question with maids, what we do, I think with the help of BBMP, every 15 days we get them tested just as a precaution. I think you can use that logic also.
That's true.
Yeah, but that order was revoked, right? So we had an order that every 15 days we have to get them tested, and then it was revoked.
No, it's better. It's better. That's it. That's what sir is saying. It's better to get that.
But do it if it helps. That's
yeah.
Okay. Sure, sir.
So I have a question. So like how you said, for the people traveling from Kerala and for people traveling from Maharashtra, it is better once they reach the apartment that they undergo a test and isolate themselves. But in case, there are people, now that it's not mandatory that you need to inform the association on your travel. So how do we identify who are the people who are traveling from Maharashtra or Kerala, and how do we go ahead with the procedure?
No, I presume that you should be knowing who's entering the apartment complex or not. You have a very good security network, and
so yes, we do have. See, but what happens is they enter as a tenant who is already residing and who's been in their native for some time, or else it is a owner himself. So the security gets more alert only when they come by a cab or when they come with a big luggage. But if they are coming by their own car, or if anyone is picking them and dropping them, and from the basement, in case they move up to their apartment, it becomes an issue, because we have faced this earlier also, and we had happened to question just for the benefit of the society, where we did have an increase in the case. And when we questioned, it was told the government has not made it mandatory. Why are you making it?
No, I would say
Who
this
are you all to put up the rules?
that there is a mandatory order by the government for anybody entering the city.
Okay.
Please use the same one to implement in your apartment block. That's all. I mean, there is an order where we're doing it for.
Yeah. So whatever we discussed today on the clause and on how, as an association, we need to move forward, will these clause and the rules and regulations be shared with us? Because it becomes really helpful when we have it in a notice to circulate to the residents also who cross question us.
Correct. So all I'm saying is that here there is a government order itself. So there's nothing that needs to be issued more than this. You can use the government order to implement within your apartment complex. It is in writing. I can share it on the BAF group, and please use that.
Okay,
We'll go to the
at
next
any
question.
point of time, we come across anyone who has hidden things, we can take the help from the BBMP,
Please
right?
report. Please report. We can forcefully quarantine people. We have the authority. If somebody has hidden that status and not subjected themselves to testing, we can forcefully lift that resident and take them to a quarantine facility.
Okay,
Sir,
thank you.
please repeat this government orders.
Sir, this is Dr. Ramchandra from
No, I'm
Prestige
Colonel Nandagopal
Falcon
from
City.
Elgin
Sir,
Apartments.
first of all, thank you very much for organizing this webinar. It's very, very informative. Sir, I got one question. Yesterday, I received a communication from the BBMP is saying that gym, swimming pool and clubhouse should be closed. But some of the owners are asking that outdoor games, particularly tennis, only 1 or 2 people are playing. Why they are not mentioned in the circular? Kindly help us to mention the details, which are the things to be closed. And actually is very helpful for the bigger society like our Prestige Falcon City.
See, initially the gyms, all common facilities in apartments were closed. I think with request from your members, including Vikram, we relaxed it to the extent that gyms can be open with 50% capacity, just to be in line with the government order. Apart from that, I do not recollect that we have relaxed anything else in an apartment complex, which means all common areas otherwise and all sporting facilities remain out of bounds as of now. If it is being opened and
open sports is permitted as per the government.
No, this is a closed area, sir. Closed area.
No,
You're asking about the closed areas or the open?
Yeah, open. I'm asking because in this there is a circular not signed by anybody, but letter issued from the BBMP saying that only the gym, swimming pool, and clubhouse should be closed.
Correct. These are the closed ones. Yeah. We have not spoken anything about the open facilities. We have remained silent on that, so that's fine.
Okay. I think it might be useful now. I mean, you have mentioned this earlier in your address that if you're taking a refresh tab at the RW advisory, some of these points, considering the current next few weeks, may be reconsidered, I think.
Okay.
So that it will be clear for people to follow, and then it might be useful.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for organizing the webinar.
Kesari Prasad from Kesari Prasad from Mahendra Prasad. Sir, the government circular for Unlock 3 permits family functions up to 100 people. Now, some people are quoting that to say that we want to have a family function in our multi-purpose hall as per this government circular, of course, subject to government COVID guidelines. Now, should we say yes or no? It's a family function, it's a Mehendi function, we want it and the government permits it. Please allow us.
No, presently we have not allowed it. I understand that in the hotels this is allowed, subject to all COVID appropriate guidelines. But presently in the apartment complexes, we have not allowed it. That's a fact. Whether we relax this or not.
No, that is why we would like to have a specific BBMP advisory only for apartments based on the government circular so that we can show it to the residents.
Fair enough. That point is already made. We will cover this aspect also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. May I? Yeah, I am from.
I think you had your hand up for a long time.
Yeah, I am from Brigade Cosmopolis. I would like to ask about this. If we want to set up a COVID clinic or a COVID center with the oxygen facilities and all, what type of support from BPMP we can have?
So you want to set up a in-house CCC or quarantine facility? Is that the question?
Yeah, quarantine facility. Also, in case of oxygen need is there, we want to set up. So what we are also not very clear what type of setup we can make in-house as a community. So whether BPMP can help in those aspects. Whether what is our capacity, whether what type of thing we can have. Without how to help the people who are having COVID. So for that, in that purpose, because we cannot have a full setup because we do not have a 24 hours doctor or nurse and all those things. So what would you recommend for a complex of size of a Brigade Cosmopolis, and what type of support you can give on that?
We would recommend to have a very basic facility where you can isolate, say about 4 or 5 positive cases are there, then they can all be kept under one roof with some basic beds made available. We are not insisting on any kind of oxygenated facility. Obviously, somebody requires oxygen, they need to come to our level 1 CCCs or get admitted in the hospitals. But what an isolation center within the apartment will help you is to at least ensure that this remains contained and they are not allowed to mix with the general population of the apartment for that period of 10 days or 12 days during the infective period. We can have our PHC doctors come and visit during that period. We can have testing teams sited there to test them, a daily checkup and all of that. That can always be arranged from the PHCs.
Okay, sir. Yeah,
just
thank
add
you.
to that, Randeep, sir, I
would
think
be of great help. Yes.
Mr. Sundararajan, I think you're one of the newer members of BF, if I can imagine. I think understand
Yes,
correctly.
yes, sir. Yes,
I think
sir.
there is considerable wisdom which has been built up through previous occasions of apartments which have set up in-house facilities. Of course, the facility sort of varies a little bit depending upon your size. Please get in touch with any of our cluster leaders who can help and guide. Some of the apartments which have already implemented that can easily help in you don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? So you can quickly then get.
Here's something. Don't take it like that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good evening, sir.
Sanjay, you want to go ahead?
Good evening. This is Gobind from Prestige Lakeside Habitat. Sir, I just had a question about mandatory testing because that's we've been working with BBMP in our ward Vartur very closely. But the only challenge we've had is about residents questioning us on the validity of mandatory testing. So we wanted to understand how that is going to be handled in the days to come. What is the advisory and how is BBMP going to enable us? Because RWS cannot insist on mandatory testing to residents. This has to come from the government.
So we have clarified already that anybody within a containment zone has to be mandatorily tested at least once. Primary and secondary contacts lying again within that closed area or apartment will have to be tested on the on day 0 and day 7, and all symptomatics in that apartment complex, anybody with ILI-SARI or immunocompromised conditions, they will again have to be mandatorily tested. We'll bring this across in the advisory very clearly this time.
Great, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Sanjay, please go ahead. I think you have had your hand up. Please.
All right. So I believe there was a major issue during the second wave, and this is going likely to happen again in our apartment and many other apartments. So I believe the sensitivity is still high of the RT-PCR test and the specificity is low, which means false positives are still very low. I think that's still there, but the false negatives are high, which you said about 30% false negatives. What's happening here is we get a camp of testing every 10 days, 15 days. There are a set of people who test positive, about 10%, 20%, depending on the positivity rate. And we ask those people to remain isolated. So what happens is people will get their maids, drivers tested again from a private or any other lab, and they'll get a negative certificate. Now that negative certificate is much less reliable, which we try to convince the residents, than a positive certificate, because the sensitivity is much higher of RT-PCR. Now, what happens is they will get a later certificate within the next 24 hours, and the same mate is allowed to enter.
Yeah, you are bound by the first positive report for the next 10 days.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how many other times you test again.
Exactly. Can we get this in a circular, please?
Okay, add this also.
Thank you very much.
Sir, this is Vishwanath again from Renaissance Temple Bells.
So there are multiple other people with the hand.
No, I specific to this, the containment, I mean, the period of isolation, is it 10 days or 14 days?
I will clarify here. Home isolation is 10-day period. However, if it is a containment zone, it runs for 14 days.
And sir, the testing on 0th day and 7th day, is it mandatory for a containment zone?
It is mandatory for primary and secondary contacts first, and also the containment zone.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dr. S.T. Ramachandra has his hand up.
This is what we have prepared, sir, for public consumption.
Dinesh Srivastava, I'm just calling out names of people who have their hand up.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm from Provident Harmony. So I have this question regarding the upcoming Independence Day celebration. So any specific advisory about that? So because normally we do that flag hoisting and some cultural programs. So is there any advisory this
I
time?
think Sir Randeep sir has already covered that. He has highly recommended no congregations or groupings. So I think is definitely avoidable considering the next few weeks are critical and high risk. So Independence Day events, I think can be avoided. Please potentially organize anything which is virtually attendable.
Sure. And just one more point. So I believe the advisory regarding opening of gym and common facilities would be circulated soon.
That's correct.
Because we did not open our gym since we closed it at the surge of second wave. We have not
There
yet
was a
opened.
period when multiple people have opened, but I think the current situation has now changed. So we need to be conscious of that fact. But let us await the updated advisory.
Sure.
To guide on that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Ashish Tiwari.
Hi, Ashish here.
Go ahead, Ashish.
Hi. So one thing is that we would like to have the BBMP marshals to visit our campus to find the residents who are not following the social distance or who are not wearing the mask. Because when they go out of the boundary, they wear the mask and do everything to save 250 rupees. So what's the procedure to call them or to invite them? Because once we call them, and it takes a lot of efforts for us to call these marshals to inside our complex.
Randeep sir, you like to pick that in terms of what is the easiest, quickest way to support.
So Vikram, Randeep sir is just on a call.
Okay, sorry.
I would take the question.
Another question on the same line. We can seek a guideline whether can EC impose a fine on people who are not wearing the mask.
They cannot. That is, they cannot. The Resident Welfare Association may not be able to.
Correct. No, I don't think so, sir. That's also recommended. I think there has to be a mechanism to flag cases of any breach of rules to be handed over to enforcement.
We can send some teams, Vikram. We can send some teams of marshals at an appropriate time. If there is a feeling among the resident welfare associations that this is becoming a menace, in that case, we can send them inside as well.
I think I'll just add a point, Dr. Bhaskar, since you're making a note as well, in that RWA advisory, if there's a way for us to access.
May I ask a question? Sorry to interrupt.
That will be useful.
May I ask a question? How do we send for the BBMP marshal team, sir? How do we send for the team of BBMP marshals?
You can communicate through the BAF itself.
Yeah. So we'll try to seek Mr. Swaminathan inputs on some mechanism through that RWA advisory itself as to how can that support be accessed.
So just one thing, if we already have CCTV footage showing, sort of violations of COVID appropriate protocol, can we then initiate action based on CCTV footage?
Yes, it should be possible. If you have credible reason to say that, somebody is flouting it blatantly, I think can be reported because that is, everybody is bound by the same.
Sir, if we have CCTV footage in lifts of people flouting protocols, then can we have the BBMP marshals coming to, because we have a very large apartment complex. We have about 1,800 flats here. So can we then ask for the BBMP marshals team to come here so we can use evidence of CCTV footage for imposing fines on these people?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Manoj.
Hey, this is Manoj from SNS Raj Community. So this is regarding one clarification. Probably Sir had, updated regarding the locking down of a particular tower itself. So in our apartment, we had 4 or 5 cases a couple of, 3-4 days back, and we had actually locked down that entire tower with 90 plus houses. So in the previous summary, Sir had mentioned that BBMP won't forcefully lock down the entire tower. But if RWA wishes so, we can do that. So I would like to get a clarification on that. So that's the final statement, because the notification what we got from BBMP on that day was they wanted to lock down the entire tower.
No, I think Mr. Randeep has already clarified. There will also be, I think they will put that in writing.
Yeah, we'll follow it up again for the sake of clarity.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Vikram, we have another VC with the Traders Association in the next 10 minutes.
Sure,
so
we'll wrap up. I think
you
there are
can
only...
take the more important questions which have got missed out, and then Chief Commissioner Sir would address for the next 5 minutes. So if you can summarize in the next 5 to 8 minutes any major questions, please.
No, I think most of the questions have been answered, at least.
Vikram, I would like to raise just one question. I'm calling from Bhartiya City, Nico Homes, and this apartment is around 2415 flats. It's a quite large apartment in the Bangalore. The most debatable point we always keep facing on a daily basis, like children are gathering in a sandpit area and where the moms are, supporting, and the individual coaching, the trainers are coming with the 4 kids or 2 kids in open area. When the gyms can be allowed with the 50% capacity, why not the badminton and the tennis when the one side, one players are playing only 2 players at a time? Right. If you could add this, clarify the including in circular, that might be helpful.
No, open house sports are permitted.
Because
So Shyam is from the same apartment that I am. If you could have a circular on this clearly describing this.
Because kids can't be locked in the apartment, they need to go for a fitness classes, the coaching classes. Maybe so this is the point we are looking. If they are conducting the class in open space with a 4 or 5 student.
No, open spaces, outdoor sports is less risky, and I think there may be some ambiguity, but I remember that the outdoor sports are permitted, however, subject to certain restrictions. So we will clarify this as a part of the advisory.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Outdoor sports also fall in the football, so maybe the football is not permitted because considering the crowd gathering.
Shyam, I think
tennis and badminton is still considerable.
No, Shyam, I think, see, we can't get so picky and specific about every aspect. Let's let the BBMP come back with an updated RWA advisory. I'm sure they will consider broadly all aspects of facilities. Will then if there's any specific gaps over there, we can always clarify, but let the advisory come out. I think the times have changed. The current risk perception is different, and hence we need to have a different sense of preparedness. I think a lot of facilities have been opened up, etc. But in the next few weeks, if we have to maintain a little bit of a vigil, I think we have to bear the brunt of restricting some of those things. Let's wait for the advisory to come, and then we'll.
I'm just I completely agree, Vikram. I'm just highlighting. I mean, these are the few debatable points.
No, absolutely, I understand the practical constraints. You people from management committee have a lot of pressure, but I'm just suggesting that let's wait for the updated advice.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Vikram, I'm from the same. Vikram, I'm from the same apartment that Shyam is. Can we just have one clear sort of circular? From
No, it is already mentioned. They have said that they will issue an advisory. We'll wait for that.
Vikram, can I get your phone number?
I think we'll close it on this. We'll let Gaurav Gupta has been waiting for a while.
Can we get your phone number, Vikram? Your phone number.
No.
He's
I'm a part of all the groups.
He's there in the WhatsApp group, sir. Can I have one question on the
final one, Krishnan? If you can conclude, we'll then let's respect
just a few minutes back, sir mentioned that there's 10 days of containment quarantine for anybody who is tested positive and 14 days for something else. What I recall in the last thing was that 10 days plus 7 days of monitoring, that is 10 plus 7, 17 for anybody that is positive. Has the thing changed, or did I understand it wrong?
No, the isolation rule, or at least the guideline which had come in from Government of India had updated few months back itself, suggesting that the isolation for a COVID positive case for home isolation is 10 days. But I think the containment zone, the building will remain, or block or floors, whichever is the containment zone, will remain under containment for for 14 days. That's what Randeep said.
That is the clarification, Vikram. You're right. Simply because the containment zone has a cluster, so more number of cases. So
Correct.
we are taking that 4 days more. Isolated cases here and there will close on 10 days itself.
Okay, all right. Thank
Let's
you.
go ahead. I think Gaurav sir has been waiting. Please, over to you.
You can finish.
Yeah, so thank you. As usual, the interaction with the Bangalore Apartments Federation and the association office bearers is always very vibrant, and we welcome the interaction that we have held today also. Thank you, Vikram, for holding this, getting this possible. Mr. Nagaraj Rao and all the other office bearers also of the Apartment Federation. My colleagues, Special Commissioner Health, Shri Randeep, and the Chief Health Officer and Dr. Bhaskar in our city war room, they have given you a lot of clarifications, and I'm sure that that would have clarified the position. So I'll keep it very, very broad. What we want is that the city should be safe, and there is a lot of talk about the third wave coming and all that. We really do not know whether the second wave is over and or not, or whether the third wave is started or not. So these issues we leave it to the experts. We only would say that each one of us has a responsibility of wearing mask and for having COVID appropriate behavior, trying to avoid any kind of crowded places, and take vaccine as permitted. I think most of the people have taken vaccine. I would also recommend very strongly that if you have any kind of support staff, etc., each one of the support staff can also be made to take the vaccine. Now the vaccines are available. It is open for all 18 plus. There is no priority groups, etc. They are all available in each one of our ward. Each one of our wards, at least one places. 141 PHCs are there, but others, other than that, also there are the wards which do not have the PHC. Also, we have said that there could be one place where you can take the vaccine. We would like to hold more vaccine camps in the apartments, but it is all dependent on, one, the demand in the apartment. The second thing is the availability of vaccine at our side. And both of them are a constraint. I believe that a lot of people have been doubly vaccinated, and we would see if it is necessary. In that case, we could consider it. But for that, we need to have reliable, more reliable supplies, which we hope and expect. But it is a little less short of the expectations. So overall speaking, the city is safe. We have less than about around 400 to 500 cases per day. That may also be high, but considered high, but it is definitely much less as compared to the larger number that we had reached earlier. Considering the high percentage of vaccinations among the 45 plus population, my officers tell me that it is 82% of the people who have been vaccinated with one dose. And also a substantial part of it, part of them have also taken the second dose. So considering the large number of vaccination in the 45 plus, it is 82%. But in the, if you see overall 18 plus, it may be around 62% or so single dose. The double dose is around 17% overall, which will go up further. We are just waiting for the period to get over, 3 or 4 months period for Covishield to get over, and that would also be taken up. So generally with this kind of thing and high seropositivity, which has been assessed by ICMR, we are also taking up separate seropositivity survey, sero survey, etc. in the city itself, for which we have initiated it today. So we understand that with the mask, on top of all of this, we should be relatively safe, and the positivity rate is less than 1% in the city. So we should be relatively safe. Two things that we need to do. One is on the crowded places, particularly the marriage functions, the birthday parties and such others, we need to be careful. There are a lot of young people who get restless on these matters, and these are basically potentially a little unsafe kind of things. The second thing is outside people, because the states of Kerala and Maharashtra have larger incidents, And that is the reason why we have stepped up on the issue of testing and also the restriction of people who are coming without the negative test certificate. And among the residents here, we have said that, okay, fine, whosoever has positive, we should be able to contain them. And the containment and isolation of positives and allowing restrictions on transmission of the virus is a very important part. So we have tried to increase the number of contact testing to a high number. Initially, we were doing around 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. in the peak, because the number of cases themselves are very high. But now it is possible, and we are trying to see how it can be stepped up further. So overall speaking, we are good. The government has relaxed in a phased manner every second week or so. If you see, 4 or 5 times they have been unlocked, and this unlock has basically restored large part of the economy and the economic activities, etc., to the people. What still continues is certain restrictions on theaters, certain restrictions on some other activities, etc., which are 50%, etc., and then the night curfew. The night curfew, in my opinion, was not enforced very strictly, and now, in the light of recent scare, we are trying to see how it can be enforced even more. And we would like to seek the support of all of you. There are certain issues which you have expressed, and we have issued advisory. Our advisory was issued at some point of time, 2 months back or so, 2.5 months back. And since then, the landscape has changed a little bit, and we also need to reflect it. And so therefore, we will issue a revised advisory. So overall speaking, we are good, but we need to be cautious and vigilant. And that is what we expect all of you to do. You have a very vibrant federation with so many associations. I hope and expect that if we have proper kind of COVID appropriate behavior at the homes as well as at the workplaces, as well as say, for example, the shopping places and things like that, in that case, we will be fine. But COVID will manage to surprise anybody, and that's the reason why we have to be extra cautious. And although I am reasonably confident we'll be good, and I expect the hospitalizations to be relatively less in view of the vaccinations and others, but still we'll have cases. We are closely monitoring on a day-to-day basis the number of cases, the number of hospitalizations and all, and we expect that things will be reasonably in good control. So with this, I would wind up and thank you all for your inputs, and look forward to interacting with you further in the coming times. Thank you.
From the BA, we would like to thank you for the initiative, and we look forward for the advisory so that the things could be clarified. I think the management committee of the associations also should take care. They take the responsibility of convincing the residents in case of need. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the entire team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Randeep sir. Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar.
Thank you so much.